Hi everyone, welcome to Restorative Yoga. I'm Sharon. Before we get started today, I just want to take a couple of minutes to talk about restorative yoga as a practice and also discuss props. So to begin with, restorative yoga is a beautiful supplement to your wellness routine. It's going to be different from your typical yoga class if you've gone before to a flow class or a hatha class or even a hot class. I don't have any space heaters hidden in the corners of my living room here in New York City. Basically, what we're going to do is stay on the ground, close to the ground, and we're going to totally support the physical body to enable us to immediately relax. And that's going to get us to a point where we then can work on the monkey mind and trying to get that to relax. We're going to let go of tension and anxiety and stress and use breath work to bring us back to the moment when that monkey mind kicks up again. Okay, so props. You probably don't have a bunch of stuff in your home, and traditionally a restorative yoga practice, if you do it in a studio, relies heavily on a bunch of props. I happen to have a few here, not the many that I would have in a studio, so we're going to not go crazy with props, but you do need some substitutes if you don't have them. First of all, the yoga bolster. For the yoga bolster, there are a few easy super props that you can use. One is pillows. So I have 2 king size pillows stacked here. If you don't have king size available, standard size is fine. The other thing you can do besides the pillows is you can take towels. So I have 3 bath sheet size towels here, and I folded them up, rolled them up, and I tied them together just to keep things neat and tidy, but that's just me. You can use beach towels if you don't have bath size, okay? So those are your options for the bolster. Blocks. Chances are, if you have any yoga accessories at home, they're going to be the blocks. Either the cork ones, which are heavier, or the soft ones, which are actually preferable often in restorative yoga because they're a little softer on the body. So either one works. That's great if you have them. You should probably have at least 2 handy. If you don't, the easiest go-to probably are going to be some books if you have some hardcovers. So I just happen to have here my old Riverside Shakespeare from my undergrad days, and I have my animal law textbook from law school. Together, stacked together, they actually are the height of a block on its medium height. So there you have it. Whatever books you choose, hardcover and big bulky ones are great because they're not going to move on you. So just do the best you can with that. Another option for blocks, pillows are fine. The big ones are fine that you have, but I just grabbed this toss pillow from my living room. That's going to work just as well as a block for one of the postures we're going to do in the practice in just a few moments. Eye pillow. So maybe you have one at home, and if you do, that's great. We're going to use that today. Wonderful. If you don't, you can use a washcloth. The washcloth is going to help you just block out light in a posture, and that's great too. A nice option, if you have it handy in the pantry, is to fill a sock with some rice that you can grab and then tie it off in a knot or rubber band it. What's nice about that is it's going to block out the light, but it's also going to give you that weight on your eyelids. So if you have some rice in the pantry, it's worth a couple of minutes to set one up for yourself that way. Finally, just a word about blankets. When we get going, I don't want to have to break it down in the middle of the practice. You can see I'm sitting on one, and basically I have yoga blankets. Any kind of blanket's fine, but this blanket underneath my bum, I'm just folding it in half that way, right? So it's about that size. That raises the sits bones, and that's really nice. You can also use it on your belly for a pose, and I'll point that out during the practice. So that's nice for weight on the belly. Finally, the other thing is, if we fold it this way, this is going to be a pillow for our head. So you can use a regular pillow, of course, but if you have that other blanket in a yoga class, if you go to a studio at some point, this is what you'll do to put under your head. Okay, so that's it. Figure out what you have, maybe what you need, go grab it, press pause, and let's get going.
Now that you have the props you'll need, I suggest playing some soft, soothing music or nature sounds. If you use Spotify, I recommend its yoga and meditation playlist. Or you can ask your Echo Alexa device to play meditation music. Another way to set the mood for a restorative practice: dim the lights and light some candles. And if you have scented candles, a little aromatherapy really adds to any practice. Let's begin with some breath work in a comfortable seated position. Alternate nostril breathing is a balancing breath. It calms the mind and body while at the same time helps us focus. So spine straight and keeping head up so throat stays open. Raise your right hand. We're using the thumb and the ring finger for this breath work. Bring your right thumb alongside your nose and close off the right nostril. Take a deep breath in through your left nostril. Then, bringing your ring finger to the left side of your nose, close off your left nostril and slowly exhale through the right nostril. Hold your left finger where it is, deep inhale through the right, and then closing off the right nostril with your thumb, long exhale through the left. That's one round. Let's do that again. Closing off the right with the thumb, inhale through the left. Hold. Switch fingers, closing off the left nostril, exhaling through the right. Then inhale through the right. Thumb to your nostril, exhale through the left. One more round together, trying to even out the inhales and exhales now. Inhaling right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhaling right. Try closing your eyes and doing 2 full rounds on your own, inhaling and exhaling perhaps to a count of 5 or 6. Feel the breath filling your chest and belly, finding its way all the way to your fingertips and toes. Feel that energy. With every breath, you are nourishing yourself. With every exhale, you're letting go of any distractions and feeling yourself rooted here in the moment, grounded, at ease. When you've completed the 2 full rounds, keeping your eyes closed, let your right hand float down to your right knee and face both palms upward in a gesture of openness and receptivity to this practice as it unfolds for you today. Moving into our first pose, we're going to start with the twist that we will hold for 5 minutes on each side. Take your bolster or pillows or rolled towels and bring it alongside your right hip with your knees forward. You'll put a blanket folded for a pillow on the bolster for your head. Turning your upper body to the bolster, bring your torso to completely relax on the support. Right ear to the bolster. You might use another blanket over your left hip for a little extra weight that can be grounding and comforting. Your knees fall naturally to the floor. They don't need to be stacked. Let your arms completely relax. If it feels good to you, you can move the bottom leg slightly forward and the top leg slightly back, which can help the lower back release a bit more. Remember, only do what's comfortable and lets you relax. We're not actively stretching here. Take a deep inhale through your nose and let yourself sigh out a big exhale as you settle in. For the remainder of your time in this pose and the others, you'll breathe naturally in and out through your nose. With this first pose, we're just trying to settle in. It's a good time to incorporate a simple mindfulness technique of using a simple phrase for inhale and exhale that you can return to throughout the practice as the mind starts to wander away from the present moment. For example, breathing in, I feel calm. Breathing out, I feel ease. Or breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Or, breathing in, I smile. Breathing out, I release. Whatever works, just pick one and stick to it for the practice. Whenever your mind wanders, which it will, just bring your focus back to your breath and use your words to help you let go of those distracting thoughts and return to the moment. Breathing in, I am aware of my breath. Breathing out, I am relaxed. Coming out of this twist, slowly and mindfully walk your arms back towards your body. Let's move the bolster to the left hip and do the same thing on the other side. Again, hip to the side of the bolster, knees pointing forward. We twist the torso and then release the upper body. Left ear comes down to the bolster. Often a yoga pose can feel quite different from one side to the other. You might explore what it feels like to have a blanket between your knees. and your ankles for added cushion and support. Deep breath in and let out an exhale to settle in. Again, we'll hold this side for 5 minutes. Restorative poses typically are held for at least this amount of time. In my own practice, I hold most poses for 10 minutes, and in cases like this where there are 2 sides, I like a minimum of 5 minutes on each. It takes us at least this long to really relax in any given shape. Coming out of this twist slowly and mindfully, walk your arms back towards your body and come to a seated position. The next pose we are going to do is one from the group we call heart openers. We are going to do a very simple variation using a bolster, 2 blocks, and a couple of blankets. The bottom half of the body will be in a position that people often recognize as butterfly pose, the soles of the feet together, knees out to the side. In restorative, we want everything to be fully supported, so I'm using blocks under each knee. You can also use pillows, tossed pillows, or actually my favorite, rolled blankets. So in this butterfly shape, we have the bolster or its equivalent aligned with our back. Again, if you're using a bolster, you'll want that folded blanket to use as a pillow for your head. Lower yourself down, leaving an inch or 2 of space between your lower back and the support. Let your arms fall out to the side naturally with palms facing up. It can be nice to rest your lower arms on blankets or pillows here. This pose opens us up wide to the world, and some can have it also be a vulnerable position for them. I like to cover the belly or even opening up the blanket a bit more so that it sits across the entire pelvic area and inner thighs. And finally, before dropping into this pose completely, place the eye pillow over your closed eyes. Deep inhale, deep exhale. Feel the expansiveness of this pose, the whole rib cage, the intercostal muscles opening up. Especially when we're stressed or feeling high anxiety, we contract our bodies and our breath gets constricted as well. Here, we're helping our bodies and minds relax and open up again. Imagine the breath flowing more freely through your body now that you've created space for it to do so. We'll hold this pose for 5 minutes. Do your best to just stay with your breath. When you feel thoughts starting to pull you away, try bringing your awareness back with your words. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Coming out of this pose, let's first bring our knees together and then roll onto one side. Carefully use your arms to bring yourself once again to a seated position. As a counterpose to the heart opener, we're now going to do a restorative shape that rounds in for a more grounding effect. Rather than thinking of this as a contraction, think of it as self-nurturing, self-comforting, like when you wrap a warm, cozy blanket around yourself. We're going to start by building a little bridge for ourselves using 2 blocks and a bolster. Or if you're not using a bolster and you're using the towels rolled up or 2 pillows, that can work as well. In terms of the blocks, there are 3 heights to the blocks, depending on the edge you choose. The smallest, medium, or the highest level. Even at the highest level, you'll get the benefits of this pose. So ultimately, choose the level that works best for you that you can easily relax into. Remember, a restorative practice isn't about stretching, it's about relaxing. For this pose, we're in an easy cross-legged position, a blanket under the sits bones, and I also folded the blanket for the belly. You might also want a blanket on top of the bolster if you have one. And stacking one hand on top of the other, lower your right ear to your hands. Here, an eye pillow becomes a little extra weight if you place it on the back of your neck. Deep inhale, deep exhale. Let's settle in for 5 minutes with the head facing this direction. If you're using pillows and they aren't quite firm enough, you can place some additional books in the middle of your prop bridge. Another at-home option is to face a chair or sofa and use the seat as your arm and headrest. Breathing in, I smile. Breathing out, I release. Okay, let's do the other side. I encourage you to switch your crossed legs here before bringing your left ear down to rest. You might also explore what it feels like to just let your arms dangle forward rather than having them stacked under your head. Whatever feels more comfortable for you. Deep breath in and exhale. We're here for 5 minutes. Let yourself settle in and savor this stillness. Breathe into the back. Feel the expansion across the upper back and the shoulder blades. Breathing in, I feel calm. Breathing out, I feel at ease. Mindfully, let's come out of this shape. We can just circle the upper body around. After being in that forward bend for a while, reverse direction. We can get ready to move into our final Shavasana together. Every yoga practice ends with a final Shavasana, most often corpse pose with the body flat on the ground. An option for final Shavasana that's unique to restorative yoga is known as Stonehenge savasana, and we're close to the prop setup already. One thing, if you used yoga blocks for the previous pose at one of the lower heights, you'll want to put them at the tallest setting for our Shavasana now. If you used a nearby chair or sofa, stay right where you are. We're going to lie down and scoot close enough to our support so that it catches right behind the crook of our knees, calves completely resting on the bolster. Place a blanket on your shins. The weight here will really anchor you into position, and you gently lower your body down to the ground. As you do so, you may even scoot your hips a little closer to the bolster so that your thighs aren't exactly perpendicular to the floor, but close to it. Place the eye pillow on your eyes and then let your arms fall naturally to your side, palms upward. Deep inhale, and let yourself sigh out of your mouth, and exhale, letting go of any last tension. Tighten your fists, and on your next exhale, let them completely relax, fingers open and soft. We're going to be here for 5 minutes. Again, a blanket on the belly or torso might feel nice. As you settle in, scan your body starting at the toes. Relax the feet and ankles. Relax your calves. Relax your knees. Relax behind your knees. Relax your hips. Relax your belly, your lower back. Relax your middle back, your shoulder blades. Feel the floor supporting you. Relax your chest, your shoulders. Relax your arms. Relax your neck. Relax your jaw. Relax behind the eyes. Relax your forehead. On your exhale, feel your belly emptying itself of the air and resting. Your chest lowering, resting. On your next breath, feel the belly rise and fall. Breathing in, I fill myself with the positive energy around me. Breathing out, I am at ease. Breathing in, I fill myself with the positive energy around me. Breathing out, I am at ease. Breathing in, send your breath through your body, reaching all the way to your fingertips and toes. Feel that space you've created in your body. Feel that positive energy filling you. You are completely supported here. You are at the same time grounded and feeling lighter. Try to stay here in the moment. It's easy to let our thoughts wander back to our to-do list in the final moments of a practice, already starting to think about what comes next. Give yourself the gift of staying in the practice until its end. Use your mindful phrases to stay with your breath. At the end of our 5 minutes, I'll let you know when to come out of the pose for our closing. Gently coming out of the savasana, start by wiggling your toes and fingertips. Keeping your eyes closed, remove the eye pillow and then the blanket from your shins. Bring the soles of your feet to the edge of the bolster and then mindfully roll to your right side. Stay here in a fetal position for a few breaths. When you're ready, slowly push yourself back up to a seated position so that we can close this practice together. Come back to a blanket under your sits bones, spine straight. Deep breath, gratitude. Feeling rested and alert.
To close with you, I would like to use a mantra that is very simple. It's the Sanskrit for "May all beings be happy and free." This is my favorite. It's one that I say almost every day, and including doing it at daybreak at Terrell's Sky Space on campus. So I hope you'll enjoy. Here we go. To close. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you again for joining me. Namaste and Team Weiss.